Alrighty, welcome back. Welcome back. Okay, in this video, we're going to get into the chorus of the song, and the lyric is, and friends just can't be found. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how I came up with this part of the arrangement, it was from listening to the various versions. But there's a beautiful little dance going on in the shape of the melody and the shape of the bass line. Okay, and so what I did was, coming up with the arrangement, I figured out the melody and bass first, and then I did my best to fill in the middle, just to let you know how I came up with that. So we're going to do, and friends just can't be found. Okay, so the first thing that we were on here was this melody note, the D. Okay, so I don't know if I really unpacked that well enough. We have a G chord, and then that's happening, and then that line, that G, continues. So eventually we're holding three notes. I might not have really said this. And they're all in the third fret, so it's like D, F, and then G. If you have to do the G like this, you can let go of the bass. Okay, you don't have to hold the bass throughout. So at bare minimum, you're going to have what looks like it looks like an A7 chord. It's really a G7 chord. It's in the third fret. Okay, so now, and friends, let's get into the new stuff now. Fifth fret bar chord. It's going to be like an A minor 7, except you put your pinky on the top. Friends. So I've got third finger on the fifth string, fourth finger on the first string, and barring. Okay? Next chord is kind of strange. Let me show you what it is. Third finger, 7th fret. You're going to do a hinge bar. That means just the inside joint of your finger plays the first string, and second finger plays the second string. I'm going to show you why. So when I strum this, I'm trying to, with the little bit of the fleshy part of my third finger, I'm trying to mute the fifth string. So this is like a G7 chord, a G9 chord, right? But with B in the bass. And the weird chord formation comes because I wanted that bass line. Now the reason we're not playing it like this, watch what the left hand would do if I had to bar. It's just a lot of motion like that, which I find unnecessary. I find that much more comfortable. It's just a little hinge. Okay, next, C with G on the top. Friends just can't. Now, after that we have it transitions nicely. It's a very jazzy A7 chord that we're going to go to. Watch. Second and third finger come up to the third and fourth string, and the chord is A, C sharp, so 5th fret, 2nd fret, and now you got to stretch a little. 4th fret, 5th fret. That's a typical jazz guitar voicing. That's an A9. So instead of just an A chord, which is very vanilla, we get those jazzy sounds in it. And it also keeps the hand in the shape that we're going to need even for the next chord. Next chord is going to be a D chord, but played in a way that you wouldn't expect. It's going to be the exact same shape as the C chord, except we have to do some very crafty left hand work to mute the third string. See, we don't want that. We don't want that third string, so I'm doing that a little bit with my first finger. Here. So, hear that? Because there was no real good voicing that I could. That didn't have an F sharp in it, and a bar chord was like too much work, or like didn't bring the melody out enough. That was the only way I could really find to get the melody to sing out. Okay, so let's go back. Let's do "and friends can't be found." I can't get the words. That's why I'm not a singer. Okay, so starting here. Okay, A minor. Or A minor 9, the hinge bar chord, C with G on the melody, A9, now the D chord with the muting. Okay, now here comes a rather tricky little stretch. You know what, we're going to do this in the next video, because this next thing where it goes like a bridge, this is going to be a little bit different for everybody. And you might have to experiment with how you do that. I'm going to attack that in the next video. So let's keep going. Go on to the next video. All right. All righty, welcome back. So now we're at the phrase where the iconic phrase, like a bridge, right? And I'm going to give you sort of the version of the chord that I play on the word like, where we have to do a G chord underneath that. I do something with kind of a big stretch. Don't worry if you can't do this. I'm going to show you an alternative fingering. So pinky on the 7th fret, this is what I do, and first finger on the 3rd fret. And what you're going to have to do, if you can look in the left-hand camera, or I don't know which camera, you might have to bring your shoulder down so that your wrist isn't too bent. Please do not hurt yourself with this move. This is like really comfortable for me to do because I've got big hands. And what I'm plucking the 6th string and the top 3 strings. You got to really make sure that melody comes out. If this is too difficult for you to play, I suggest doing same melody note, open B string, 3rd finger on the 3rd string, and first finger, 5th fret, 4th string. It's still a G chord. You've still got the melody. You're simply playing the bass note 1 octave higher for that chord. The reason I play it low is because I want this like a bridge. It's nice to bum, bum, bass goes up, melody goes down, bass goes up, melody goes down. So from an arranger perspective, I like the motion of those outer things. But if it's physically impossible, or even if it's uncomfortable, just do it like this. Watch. Right? And then There's your hinge bar chord. Like a bridge. Okay, so in our second video, I showed you the move, bridge over troubled waters. There's going to be a slight twist on the end of one of those. Let me unpack that for you. So I'm going to play this my way, but you can, of course, do it your way. Okay, so like a bridge. We've done this. Over troubled. We've done this. We've done this. Now, I will lay me. On the first time we do down, it has to be an E minor chord. So you're going to go there with your, watch, second finger on the high E, 3rd fret. And then you're going to do a walk up. We're going to go boom. Now I like that because if I go here with my pinky, it's really hard for me to get to that stretchy chord. So if I do second finger, my pinky's almost all the way there already. So let's see what that's like if you're going to do the smaller chord. Actually, it doesn't really matter if you're doing the smaller chord. You could do down with the 4th finger. But the way I do it, like a bridge. Oh, this is the first time, right? First time. Second finger. Okay, now that's the second time. Over troubled waters. And then, so the second time, it goes to a G chord, and we're going to have that kind of rolling vamp between the G and the C chord. So now that you're getting an idea of all these pieces, I'm going to play this all the way up to the G to C chord interlude before the second verse. Okay, so here we go. Intro. So this is the whole thing up to the point where we've just learned the finger moves. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is the intro, right? Vamping now. As I said, I do this 3 times. You can do it twice if you want. Okay, here we are, vocal verse 1. Okay. Second finger. Now vamp. I do this one 3 times. Right? And if you can, okay, and now we are up to it's actually the 3rd verse from the Simon and Garfunkel version. But I'm playing it as my second verse. I'm leaving their second verse out. Okay, so let's go on to the next video. All right. Alrighty, welcome back. In this video, I'm going to show you how I play my second verse of Bridge Over Troubled Waters. It's actually the third verse that Simon and Garfunkel sing, so I've removed their second verse from this arrangement because it's kind of just a repeat of the first verse, at least melodically. This is a very characteristic verse for people who know the song. It's sail on, silver girl, sail on by. And they're two voices. They're singing in these very beautiful intervals. Actually, they're called thirds. Simon and Garfunkel are singing this together. Okay. So I'm going to show you the ultra tricky way that I do it first. And you can mess with it, but don't worry, I'm going to show you an easier way to play it after I show you my tricky way. Because the tricky way, just to get into it, I've got my thumb over the top of the neck the whole time playing a G bass note throughout. And then there's fingers moving on top of that. So this is kind of an advanced thing. So here goes. Don't sweat it if you can't do it like I do it. Like I said, I'm going to show you an easier way to do it. So first thing I'm going to do is show you the notes, and then I'm going to show you the rhythm, which is also kind of tricky. Now, very important to notice is the technique that I'm doing this. I'm not using two fingers on the right hand. I'm actually using one finger. I'm using my middle finger because I find that if I have to play two treble strings, and this is very personal for me, I can get more volume out of the top string if I use one finger, because that's where I'm making contact. Hear how the E string is a little louder? If I get into two fingers, the lower string might dominate. Okay, so with the thumb over the top of the neck, I'm going sail on, right? And then I go to the second and third string with the third and fourth finger, fourth and third fret. So that's that's S-I-L of silver, sil. And then first and second finger. And then, so sail on. And that's all with one finger. Now the rhythm is kind of tricky. It actually comes in a place you might not expect. It comes in on beat 4, and it's kind of syncopated. So count with me, and I'm going to show you where it happens, okay? 1 and 2 and 3 and sail on, silver girl. See, it's kind of weird the way it's falling between the beats. Okay, 1, 2, 3. And then I put a little G up there. That's just accompaniment. That's not a sung melody note. Okay? And then I strum a C chord. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 2. So I'm going to sail on bass, right on 1 with the bass note. Hear that G there? 1, 2, 3, sail. Now, let me show you that move. First finger. Now, first and third finger on the second and third fret. It's like the top two notes of a D chord, but I'm playing first finger and third finger, and then third and fourth finger. So third finger stays down. So this is kind of a tricky move because the thumb is staying anchored on that third fret. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Actually, very often I just leave the first finger down because it's nice when the notes ring over each other. Okay, so with all this syncopation, your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to keep the beat straight. Now, if you need to play the G sort of like a normal person would do it with your third finger, what you can do for this section, and it's just 4 bars, so don't sweat this, is just play the top melody. Okay, so I'm just playing E, E. So it's a little scrunchy and a little tricky to hold that finger and do all the other stuff, but just play the top note, okay? That will suffice. That will keep the listeners happy, the people who know the Simon and Garfunkel version. Okay, so from there, the whole verse is going to be kind of the same until we get to the middle of the hook. So I'll play it again with my sort of complex, more difficult way to play it. But then I'm going to keep playing so you can see that it's all the same material that we've covered. So we're coming out of the vamp before this, right? Going to do this 3 times. Okay. Here we go. Okay, now comes the C and the F chord. You've done all this, right? Now here we go. So you see the only difference was the beginning. And then it's the same. Now I'm stopping at troubled there because right here is where it's going to be a little different. The second time we do the chorus and we sing the word water. That's where things change. Okay, so let's go on to the next video. We'll pick it up from here. Welcome back. Okay, so we've gotten through the second verse with last video was the Sail On Silver Girl, and we're now sort of plopped in the middle of the second chorus where we sing or where we play Like a Bridge Over Troubled Water. So what happens here now, and this was very, very tricky, and they do it a little different each time, but on the last time they do the hook, so we've got like a bridge over troubled. The melody is now water. So it's an E minor chord. And you're going to play that G with your first finger. Remember, the first time we did a bridge over troubled water. We did that thing. Remember? Now it's bridge over troubled water. Okay? So if you do water there with your first finger, you're going to be in the right spot. Now, second and third finger on the fourth and third string. I will, C chord, lay. Now, this is tricky but important. Bar chord B7. Okay. Then, and that's of course because I'm doing that stretchy G chord. If you're going to do the easier G chord, you could go regular B7 because you're going to go there. So, sorry if I haven't been clear. This B7 bar chord sets me up for the second finger there, which makes it easier to get to the stretch. So, I had to make that stretch sort of, that stretch chord, because I wanted it in my arrangement. It's sort of like putting a big piece of furniture in the living room and having to adjust the other pieces around it, if that makes sense. So if you're doing the simpler G chord, you have a little bit more wiggle room. So let's go. Like a bridge over troubled. Now watch again. Water, E minor. I will lay. This is how I do it. With a walk up. Now, like here's where it gets actually kind of tricky to remember all the chords, okay? Like a bridge, C chord, bar chord at the 8th fret. Now watch. This is sort of a B7 flat 9 or a diminished chord. There's lots of different things we could call this. Let me show you the fingering. 6th fret, bar at the 4th fret, second finger on the 3rd string, and then pinky on the B. So, okay. O, that's the O of over. Bridge, O, and now watch. That's called a diminished 7th chord. It's also just a B7 flat 9 chord. Don't worry about what it's called. So I'm doing 4th and 3rd, and then 2nd, 1st. Okay. Bridge over. Now, troubled waters. How are we going to do that? B minor, 7 chord. So just do that for the melody. I know it's kind of weird in that moment, but it goes by so fast, nobody notices. Okay, then back to... So we did the diminished chord again, then E minor I'm playing. Let's do that much so far. I know I'm throwing quite a lot at you, and you're going to have to really practice this part. I was very surprised practicing the song. I thought all the finger picking stuff was complicated, and as I was working on this song, I realized the mental organization that I need for these last big fat chords so that they don't buzz, so that I'm sure where I put my fingers. This really took some work too, even though it seems, one would think it's easier. It's to get your head wrapped around it is kind of tricky. So the best thing you could do is orient yourself towards the melody. You know, bridge over troubled water, la ba 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 ba, like a bridge over troubled water, ba 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 ba. So that part of the melody is what we're harmonizing. Okay? So let's do the bridge let's do the hook again. Like a bridge over troubled water. From there, nice and slow, okay? A 1 and 2 and like a... Now water's going to be the higher one, right there. Now C bar chord, diminished, B minor. Now watch what I'm doing here. Water. I'm putting a low E underneath that. And then I got a little dog in here who wants, I think he wants to go out. Hey, Tookie, he's walking around below the camera level. You can't see him. You want to say hi to the people? Okay, well, maybe later. Oh, you want to say hi? You want to say hi to all the Bridge Over Troubled Water people? This is Tookie, everybody. Little old guy. 14 years old. Okay. Bridge over troubled waters. Now watch. I'm gonna lay me down. Watch. Easy. A minor. Right? To B7. A minor to B7. That. Okay, we're going to stop right there because that's going to be what I call the ending. So that was pinky to the A up to B. Okay, so one more time, second hook until we get to the ending section. Okay, here we go. High, C. C bar chord, diminished, B minor, A minor, okay, so let's stop here on this video and we'll take it from this point in the next video. All right. All righty, welcome back. So we are now at what I think of as the end of the tune, Bridge Over Troubled Waters. We've just hit the big climax, Bridge Over, all the drama, right? Now, starting there. So this is a section that I've sort of composed a little. I don't know if I got this directly from the various versions. Sort of kind of put something together here. I don't quite recall how I came up with this. Took some of it from their version, added some of my stuff. Okay. I'm gonna lay me down. So the word down, I'm sliding to the 7th fret. Okay, and I'm putting my 3rd finger here on the 7th fret, and I'm going. So I'm walking the A string from the 7th fret down to the 4th fret. And I do the open strings and finger picking a little bit different each time. Okay, that sort of lets things up in the air. It's almost really like it's going from letting it down. The harmony is E minor to A7, in case you're interested. Then what I do, I have this sort of, you would call this a pedal point. It's like a G harmonic, a G triad, so 2nd, 3rd, and 4th string. I'm actually pinching it with my thumb and index. I'm getting 3 strings there. And I'm going to do a D bass note, but the rhythm's going to be 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So I'm going, right? And then I'm going up to I'm barring on the 8th fret, and I keep doing that. So it's like the top chord is moving, top chord's moving, and I'm trying to keep poking on that D in the bass. But I've got to do a couple crafty little moves to get that smooth. So let me show you what I do. I do the G and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So after the C minor chord, that's a C minor, I go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, open D, so that I have time to shift with my left hand. Then the same thing, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay? My doggy's walking around here, distracting me. He's very cute, but he's been very patient as I've been teaching you this over the last several videos, but now wants some stimulation. But Tuki, I'm almost done teaching them. I got to do it. He wants to play. I know you want to play. We'll play. We'll play, I promise. As soon as I'm done teaching everybody Bridge Over Troubled Waters, okay? Okay, so then after that, we're kind of home free. So let's move the needle back. So we're going like a bridge over. Okay, here we go. Now the harmonics. Okay, now that hangs in the air. Then we're going to do rubato, meaning sort of out of time, without a steady beat, but we're going to do the hook. Like a bridge, right over troubled. And then I do something a little bit fancy here on water. I do kind of a jazz chord. You don't have to do this, but watch. 11th fret, 12th fret, 12th fret. So second, third, and fourth finger, I go. And if you want to be really jazzy, you could even tap the 6th fret. So that, you know, my wife thought that was really inappropriately jazzy. And a Study with Adam member, Aaron, thought it sounded really cool. So it's your choice. If you don't like it, you could just go water. You could just go safe with an E minor chord. Okay? And then I do I will lay me. Let me show you what I'm doing there. The A minor voicing I will lay. That's just a bar chord with the B on top. That's called a D13 sus. Then I go to. So let me show you that. 4th fret bar, 2nd finger, 5th fret, 3rd string. It's kind of similar to that diminished chord we did before. Please forgive me if I'm not unpacking all the jazz harmony. I don't want to make a jazz harmony lesson out of this because I just want to get you playing the song. There's a lot of different things we could call that. Okay? And then last part of the arrangement, I do a little chord progression, kind of walking down, all with G in the melody. So C with G in the melody, then it's like a G chord but with B in the bass, then B flat, A minor 7. Now here I go F13. That's kind of a tricky voicing because I'm doing pinky on the top 2, 3rd fingers, 2nd finger, and then one time through that whole end section. Okay. A minor. The harmonics. Okay, now rubato. Jazzy chord. Okay. Now walk down from the C chord. Then down to F. It's a little easier to grab that with the hammer than add the G afterwards and then pull off the first and second. Let me clarify one thing on that jazzy chord up the neck. I'm doing thumb on the 5th string and the open E string first, and then 3rd and 4th string. So 5th and 1st string. I don't think I made that clear before. Okay. So here's what I'm going to do. Here's what I got for you. We're going to do one more video where I play this. I attempt to play it extremely slowly all the way through for you so that you can follow the fingerings. So I hope you've enjoyed this, and let's go on to the next video for the slow walkthrough. All right. Alrighty, congratulations. You've made it through all of the lesson material. It's quite a lot of stuff. And in this video, I'm going to attempt to play through this as slowly as I possibly can, which is not always easy. And I'm going to sort of call out the different sections and points to pay attention to as I go. Okay, so here we go. Okay, so we're going to start with the intro. And I'm going to try to do it, as they say in the New York Big Band rehearsals, tempo di lerno. Okay, tempo of learning. Okay. Bing, boom, boom, bing, ding, bing, bing. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, so that's the intro. Then we're doing this vamp with the optional arpeggios there. And then this last one hangs in the air. First verse. C to F. Okay. Go. Mute that note. That's the first time water. Second finger. G chord. We're going to vamp. That's it. We're going to the second verse as soon as this is over. Okay. And we're going to let the C hang in the air. Now Silver Girl. This stuff is the same, right? Here we go. Different water, the high one. C, and the diminished. Now the ending. Harmonics. Again. Now rubato ending. Jazz chord. And then I will lay me. Now the walk down from the C. Hammer that first, then add the pinky, and then, okay. So I could have done better on the Ceylon Silver Girl. That was a little dubious the way I played that. So there you go. That's the arrangement of Bridge Over Troubled Waters. Just to recap, I showed you a few ways to make things easier. Okay, one, you can leave this thing out. That whole business, you can leave that out. Then, this stretch, you can do the smaller G chord. So you're not doing that enormous stretch, okay? Then Ceylon Silver Girl, you could always just do the top. You just do the top note of those chords. That way you don't have to do thumb over the top of the neck. Okay, so those are just some options to make it flow for you to have it be a little bit easier. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for being a student. And if you've got any questions, or maybe you need a tab sheet for this to just help you learn it, just reach out to me. I will do my best to help you out. All righty. God bless.